has order to it.
Let's look at it from a different angle. If I say to you, there is no God, that's called an absolute statement. In order for me to make an absolute statement and be right, I have to have absolute knowledge. I have to know everything about that subject. Let me give you an example of another absolute statement. If I say to you, there is no gold in China, in order for that to be true, I have to know everything about China. I have to know what's under every rock. I have to know what's inside of every rock, inside every jewelry store, and what's inside every Chinese person's mouth to see if there's any gold in there, in a filling, in a stone, in a ring. I have to have all knowledge of China to make that absolute statement that there's no gold. However, if I want to make the statement, there is gold in China, I don't have to have all knowledge of China. I just have to have a little knowledge. I just need to see one person's gold filling. I have to see one piece of gold, and I can say with confidence there is gold in China. So for a person to say there is no God, to make that absolute statement, they have to have all knowledge or be omniscient. And nobody is. Even the brilliant scientist Thomas Edison said,
"We do not know 1/1,000,000th of 1% about anything."
When I meet an atheist, I like to give him the atheist test. I say, can I give you the atheist test? He says, yeah, go ahead. I said, it begins with 2 questions. Kind of strange questions, but they're most necessary. The first question is, could you please tell me how many pieces of sand are on the combined islands of Hawaii? He goes, what? I said, do you know? He says, no, I don't. Second question, can you please tell me how many hairs are on the back of a fully grown male Tibetan yak? He says, what? I said, do you know? He says, no, I don't. Now, these are necessary, these questions, because there are some people who think they know everything. God used a similar principle with Job. He asked Job 70 questions, one after the other, until in essence, Job laid his hand upon his mouth and said, boy, I hardly know anything. So, here is the test. Let's say this circle represents all the knowledge in the universe. Someone who is omniscient, who has all knowledge, knows everything about everything. They know how many hairs are on every head, every thought of every heart. Every atom is displayed before them. All history is before their eyes. They know all about the secret love life of the fleas on the back of Napoleon's great-grandmother's black cat. They're omniscient. They know everything. Let's say, Mr. Professing Atheist, you know an incredible 1% of all the knowledge in the universe. Is it possible in the 99% of the knowledge you haven't yet come across, there is ample evidence to prove that God exists? And if you're reasonable, you'll have to say, well, it is possible in the knowledge I haven't yet come across, there is ample evidence to prove that God does exist. So he's forced to say, well, with the limited knowledge that I have at present, I've come to the conclusion there's no God, but I really don't know.
That's right. He's not technically an atheist. He's an agnostic. He's a person who doesn't know if there's a God. He's like the person that looks at a building and says, I don't know if there was a builder.
We're not going to